Grandma said you met in gathering.
She probably told you about everything.
Okay, Grandpa,
Yeah.
we want to hear about your life.
My whole life.
Oh yeah, tell us everything you can possibly think of. We want to hear it all.
Well, way back in 1913, I had an older sister. I wasn't in existence yet. And she told me this story. That's how I happen to know about it. She was, I think she was about 16. Her name was Barbara. And we lived in a little log cabin in Wisconsin. One night it was a bad thunderstorm. My daddy hadn't gotten home yet. And my sister told me she was kind of uneasy, and we had the old wood stove, cook stove, and she told my sister, that was her oldest daughter, to put a lot of water on the stove and warm up, have a lot of warm water. In them days, we didn't have running water. It was wash tub and one thing and another. And my sister said she knew what was happening because she was expecting a baby.
Oh, and your dad was gone?
He was, he finally came. And so she got everything ready, plenty of wood there. And
how much older was she than you?
She was 16. I wasn't born yet. She was 16, I guess.
Oh, okay. So she was quite adept at doing that then.
Yeah. So there was plenty of wood there to get the fire going. He finally came home, my dad. And being the eighth one, he had a lot of experience in seeing her delivering babies, I guess. And so there was no doctor could get a hold of her at that time of the night. They used to come out to the houses them days. So he just took care of everything, and he was real sleepy and tired and worn out from a hard day's work, I guess. And so he laid down on the couch and fell asleep. And well, anyway, in delivering the baby, he tied the cord, and all that process that goes on.
So he delivered you?
Yeah, he delivered me. And but as he went and laid down and was taking a nap, my sister said she realized there was blood escaping there. I would have bled to death. But she redid it best she could. And well, next day, some neighbor friends, ladies came in, what they called them days, godmothers or something like that, you know what I mean? And they had a lot of experience, and they commended my sister, said they did just as good as what they could have, she did just as good as what they could have done. And so I ended up being born without even a doctor. And because that was the first part of my life. My daddy, he came down with TB. TB them days was, there was a lot of people getting it back in Wisconsin. They didn't have any cure for it. So when I was 18 months old, there was nobody to take care of him, so they sent him back he went back to his folks, which was, I don't know how far it was in the same state. And they took care of him until he died. And I was 18 months old, I guess, then, so I never remember my dad, anything about my dad.
So your father died of tuberculosis then?
Yeah.
I don't know why when I was a kid I thought that your father was an alcoholic or something.
Well, he did drink some drinking, yeah.
But he actually died of TB, not alcoholism.
Yeah, no, that didn't kill him.
Okay.
He was a pretty hard-working man.
Well, he had 8 kids. He'd had to been.
did most everything. And let's see, where was we? Oh, well, anyway, I don't remember anything. He died when I was 18 months old, and then I had 2 or 3 old brothers older than me. There was 4 of us boys and 4 girls, and about everything I learned was from my older brothers, which I appreciated. Well, I can remember, I think I was 6 years old when I started school, a little country school there, and went 8 years there, and graduated from the 8th grade there in that little country school. And I used to do a lot of trapping and fishing. We had plenty. We lived right alongside of a lake. So,
What'd you do with the stuff that you trapped? Was it for eating, or did you save the furs? Or
no, trapping was furs. Yeah, it was mostly muskrats. In fact, even when I was going to school, I always made a little money trapping. We used to skin them and stretch them, dry them, and then fur buyers would come around and buy them in the fall. And
I wish I could have gone down there.
I'm getting, you know, it's letting it off for a while. Yeah, we got to go on, huh?
do you want to take a break?
Well, yeah, yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I can remember one time when I was out on this lake that I was talking about on the ice. The ice was thin at that time of the year, and I was getting along pretty close to the shore, and I broke through. Out there all alone, nobody else there. But the water wasn't over my head, but it was up about my waistline. And I tried to step on that ice, every time I tried to get out, it'd break off some more. So
you had to break your way all the way back to shore?
Well, I came in quite a ways, and I finally figured, well, this is not going to work. So I finally got back and just jumped out and landed on my lengthwise on my stomach, and I was able to get.
How on earth did you keep from freezing to death?
Anyway.
Okay.
As I mentioned before, I did a lot of trapping. Most everybody did that back there then days. The furs was, a lot of people was wearing fur coats and one thing and another. I remember one day my sister went with me along the trap line, and I had a skunk in the trap, and we decided that we wanted to take that thing home alive and make a pet of it. And we couldn't figure out how to get it home alive without getting sprayed. And so she finally came up with the idea was she'd go up there and well, what I had to do, I had to get the trap chain off from the stick that was holding him so that we could take him home in the trap and then get him home and then let him loose in the pen. So she said, well, I'll go hold his tail down while you get that thing off. So I can see her, yeah, she just went up there and the minute she touched that tail, was gonna, boy, and the spray just, so I had to lead her home instead of.
Did it squirt in her eyes or something?
Yeah, just sprayed and it burned.
It burned?
Yeah. I don't remember, I finally went back there with it and got a hold of that stick and took the stick and all down where we had a little place to put but the skunk finally got away from us.
So how old were you then?
Oh, I was probably about maybe 12 or 13. And, another time I remember going out on the lake fishing through the ice. Finally, all my brothers and sisters got married, all but one. He was single yet, Uncle Herman. That's the Uncle Herman. And he was working for the Ford Motor Company quite some little ways away from where we lived. he'd come and see that everything was all right once in a while. He was a lot older than I was. But I went out on the lake all alone. In the wintertime, the ice was thick then, no danger of breaking through. And it was pretty close to the evening, and I was gonna, we had pickerel, they call them pickerel, big long fish. And I decided I'd set a couple of, what we call them, we'd chop a hole and then we'd anchor it over a pole over the top of the hole and put the line down in the hole. And I was going to set a bunch of lines, but by the time I got two of them set, I looked back at the first one, and that pole was just jiggling up and down, up and down. I ran and pulled that fish out. It was 4 or 5 pounds. And then by that time I looked around and the other hole where I had set, it was just jiggling up and down.
Oh my goodness.
And I ran and pulled him out, and I kept that up for about, half hour or so, just straight, just running back and forth from one
Between
hole,
the two holes?
one hole to the other, yeah. And one of them weighed 12 pounds.
Wow.
18. So I strung them all and dragged them just dragged them on the ice. And my mother and I was home. We was on the ranch alone, and she could not believe her eyes when I came in, just a kid with all those fish. Well, later on in life, my older brother Ray, I finally wrote a song about him, but he moved to California, and after he was out here in California for a while, he decided to come back there to visit. And back in them days, nobody was millionaires like they are now. And all he had was an old Model T Ford. And he wanted me to come back out to California. I think I was about 19 or 20 then. And so I did. Came out to California. We had quite a time getting out here. But
What do you mean by quite a time getting out here?
well, that old Model T Ford, and back in them days the tires weren't made out of nylon like they are now. They were cotton tires. And
Cotton?
Well, it's linen, whatever, yeah, cotton, the fiber work. And we had a lot of, but we made it. And well, he had a family too.
So he came all the way back there and got you and left, or the family was with him?
He came back there to visit. Yeah.
He brought his
No,
family?
his family was with him.
Oh, okay, so you rode out with his family.
Yeah. And
So you left your mom there by herself?
what was
Your
it?
mother, you left her there by herself?
At that time she was, my older brother, he wasn't as old as the one I came out to California with, but he was still...
Truman or something?
She was with him, and she...
Which brother?
Herman.
Herman, okay.
Yeah, and he finally came out and brought her, she came out before he did, I guess, and she had a brother out here, well anyway,
So what did you do out
never
here?
back to Wisconsin, been in California ever since.
So what did you do when you got here?
Well, landed here, them days they had that bad depression. You couldn't get a job for anything. If you had a few bucks, you could buy a car real cheap because the parking lots were just full. I mean, the car lots were just full of cars, nobody buying them. And anybody of my age or near my age will remember that depression in 1929 and it lasted into the 30s until Roosevelt finally got in. And it was just hard to get jobs some days. And I went to work in a hospital. I worked there for several years.
What'd you do in the hospital?
Just the housework, janitor work.
Really?
And I finally, I played the guitar on some country music and I got into that for years, several years.
So did you go with the band, or did you actually play for a living?
Yeah, it was just, we didn't have a band, we were just two of us together playing and singing country music. And we finally got on a little radio station right out of San Diego. That was in San Diego then. We played over that for a while, quite a while. And then my other brother, Herman, came to California, and he was in Oakland at the time. And my mother was in Oakland, I was in San Diego, so I decided to go there, and that's where I met my wife, Evelyn, who just gave the other talk. And Herman was quite spiritual. He was a real religious, you know, and he brushed some of it off on me. And it stuck with me.
So where did Uncle Herman learn about that?
Well, I'd have to go back a ways for that, and I forgot to mention that too. I mentioned about trapping. There was an old man there. He was a big white beard by the name of Fraker. His name was Old Man. We called him Old Man Fraker. And he trapped most of his life, but he was an Adventist. I think he learned from the Great Controversy or something. But he still liked to trap, and anybody he could get to go out with him and go trap with him. He didn't drive a car or anything. Mm-hmm. And Herman, when he went trapping with him before he left Wisconsin, and finally afterwards I went trapping with him some too. But he's the one that brought the truth to it. He didn't know everything, you know, but he was strict in his Sabbath keeping and all that. And so then when I finally got back with Herman there in Oakland, and they were having the Adventist church, you know, used to have what they called in-gathering, house in-gathering, and they were having that.
See a green wallet?
That's where your grandma and I got together and playing in a singing band. Of course, that's very detailed. She's probably giving you all the rest of it.
Not really. She just said you met in gathering.
Yeah. Pardon?
She just said you'd met in gathering.
Yeah.
So were you an Adventist at the time?
Yeah, then I was.
Really baptized.
Well,
so what would you say, looking at your life, what are some of the highlights? What are some of the fondest memories that you have about a time in your life that was special to you?
well, I think since we met each other, everything hasn't gone 100% smooth, you know. Everyone has their married people have their hard times and they have their good times, and I've been enjoying our married life more than anything else. We've been together now for 61 years, I think it is, or 62. What was our
Is it 61 or 2, Grandma?
61, going on 62.
61, going on
The
62.
7th of October, we were married.
Well, now, if you asked me what most part of my life I lived with, that was it.
Your marriage life. If you wanted to tell your heirs, we figured, what are there, 20-something of us?
Yeah, I was just...
What message would you like to leave your heirs? If you wanted to give them each a message, what would that be?
Tell them the story about our angels, where our angels came. I forgot to.
Yeah, after we came here to Oakhurst, her mother had a ranch, and we came out here to get started down by Raymond. And somehow or other we fell there to a bunch of goats. About here we had about 100 of them to take that route. And we knew some friends that lived, well, they separated, husband and wife, and she was
Well, he
left
went to
alone.
work in the shipyard.
Yeah. And she was left alone here, and then she decided to move to
2 kids.
Mariposa. And so we volunteered to help her move the goats over to Mariposa. And we took a load of goats. We had a little old Chevy pickup over there, and delivered them, and it got dark, nightfall, it got dark before we come back.
Hmm?
I'm gonna go down to Johnny to do a quick dentist exam.
Well, honey, I'm fixing mine.
Yeah,
But- On the way back home, like I say, it got dark on us, and that's the first time we'd seen okras. And we come back 49, and 49 meets Highway 40. Isn't that 40? Yeah, it goes through okras.
41.
41. And there was a drunken Indian man with a little old Buick car he had. He had went right across 41 after he came out of 49, and he was down over the bank, and
Into the river, there was a river there.
the river right below. And here we come along with this little old pickup we had, and trying to pull him out. And we was coming too with his help and ours together. We were coming out all right, but all of a sudden, something happened. His foot slipped off from the rig or something and jerked us back down again. And I didn't dare get out of the car. I had to hold my foot on the brake to keep both of us going down in the river. And we had, your mommy was just a baby then. So she had to run and try to get help. When I was sitting there holding the brake, and there was the only place she could find was a saloon up there, and she went in there. And I guess they were also drunk or whatever it was. They didn't even pay any attention to her. She couldn't get any help.
This is 10 or 10:30 at midnight. And really dark movie.
So she came back to where I was sitting there holding the brake to keep the Indian down below in his car. Well, we decided to pray. It seemed like we always wait till the last thing before we
I know
think
that
of
was
praying.
the running boy.
But we looked up, and here come a pair of headlights coming from the Yosemite way, going towards.
Oh, okay.
Mariposa. Mariposa.
No, they came from up. We came from Mariposa way, and they came from
They came right up
from
behind us.
Yosemite, and they were well dressed too, fine looking men, very tall, and a beautiful car. You know, they weren't the class to have any equipment or anything like that to move anything, but they drove up to us, and she was bawling, and they said, "No, just don't worry, sister." Said, "We'll get you out of here."
Did they call her sister?
Can't remember.
Said they put their hand on my shoulder. They were two really tall, well proportioned in black suits
So,
men. And
like I say, they were well dressed businessmen, and one of them went to the back of the car, the trunk, and lifted up and pulled out a logging chain, big long logging chain, which that type of people wouldn't be carrying around, you know. And they come and hooked it down to us, and they got right there, and where all the power came from, I don't know, but they pulled both of us out of that drunken Indian, and that's true. And we got out to thank him, and he looked at his watch, and he says, "Just see, we got to be in San Francisco, I think it was, or Oakland." He says, by 10 or 10:30, whatever the time
It
was,
was
it was only about 15 minutes from the time.
it was 10:30 then, and they had to be in Oakland by 11:30. An hour, and you can't go that distance in an hour.
No.
And so they took off and zooped up the hill they went, and you never saw any more of them.
They disappeared. Because we went on
But
down
it
before school full
wasn't
of just
that
drunken.
long time, because that's what made us realize that it was something supernatural. It was just a very little short time. It was very impossible to get
Mm-hmm.
to be in Oakland at the
In
time
an
they
hour.
mentioned they had to be there.
Mhm.
And where they was coming from at that hour of the night, too. And
Mm-hmm. And what was it they said to you, Grandma, when they put their arm around you?
He put his hand on my shoulder, his hand on my shoulder, he said, don't be afraid. He says, everything's going to be all right.
So don't be afraid, everything's going to be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, Grandpa, what message would you like, if you were to talk to each one of us grandkids, what would be the one message that you would want us to have from you?
well, just like the other day, I was sitting here trying to figure out how many from our bloodstream, you know, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And I think we came up with, what, 20-something, 20?
Well, there's 5 children, 8 grandchildren, and 8 or 9 great-grandchildren.
And I'm proud of every one of them. I sat there yesterday morning and listening to your cousin
Cheyenne,
Cheyenne
my nephew.
preaching, you know,
Uh-huh.
and
Knock, knock.
Come in, dinner's almost ready.
come on in, Art. And he did a mighty good job preaching. I was so proud of him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought came to my mind. I said, well, I'm so proud of my grandson. So then I scratched my head and I said, he's my great grandson. So I'm proud of all my daughters and my sons and my son-in-laws. And that's another thing that makes life interesting and good to live for. We love them all. I guess that covers it kind of briefly.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Grandpa. Well, that was great. Appreciate you sharing that.
And this is Melody. She's you're great.
Grand.
I think she's pretty
I'm
great.
grand.
Just grand. And her husband, Art, and we love them both. I think there was some miracles performed there too, and how they met such good companions in this time of life when they're far and few between.
Yep.
Well, that's about all. I guess it's pretty condensed, but
Well, thank you, Grandpa.
it'd take me a book this thick to write everything.
Well, you should start doing that. We would love to read
I
it.
started it once, and I just never got back to it.
Yeah, it would be precious
Writing a
to
book.
us.
Yeah, well, the girl, her mother
That'd be
wanted me to
special.
write
Yeah.
up my life history.
It was pretty special yesterday having all. I missed Brian and Julie, but other than that, pretty much everybody was there. That was local here.
Julie weren't there.
Pardon?
Brian,
Julie, and Marvin.
and their kids.
And
And Marvin.
Sharon. I guess
Sharon
that's about
wasn't
it.
there. Yeah.
That's
Well,
good.
thank you, Grandpa.
Has your camera still working? You didn't-
Yeah, I'm just trying to get every single little bit of information I can.
I was going to say,
Did
I
you
was
show
wondering,
Grandma's bugs?
I was wondering if you had it insured or not.